Namaste, all of you. How do we know that I am a human being? How do we know I am a male, I am a female? How do we recognize this is my father, this is my friend, this is my children, this is my partner, this is my place, I am happy, I am not happy. This is the food, I am hungry and I eat food. How do we know? When do we start to know? So you have to go back to the time you got into this world. Childhood. As an infant, as a baby, just came into the world. That moment, do we know that I am a male, female, this is my name, I am a human being? All this stuff. Do we know any of these things? Can you remember? Can you recall? But by seeing your child or by seeing the other children, you can figure out, you can recognize crying for help, to get the breath, to get the air, to breathe. Then, one after other, you can see that we start to recognize, we start to identify. We are receiving knowledge of various things. Which comes first? The form or the name? Obviously, the child recognizes the form, right? One after the other. Hearing the sound. When it is repeatedly happening, recognize that particular sound. Recognize the mother's sound, recognize the father's sound, recognize the other people's sound. Any moving object getting the attraction. Then one after the other, we can see that we are gaining the knowledge of the thing or person or place. Not only human beings, in fact, other beings also with the senses, they have certain way or certain method of recognition. Recognizing the name and form. If you have a pet, a dog or cat, or any other pet, it's not only recognizing the form, definitely it recognizes the name, right? You call Rocky, say your pet's name. It responds. It knows that's his name. In coming days, there is a prediction that all animals can communicate with the human beings. Communicate means not the communication what's going on now. They can talk. Of course, the language is not going to change. In the same way how they are talking, they are going to talk. But the human beings able to recognize. What will happen? Your pet will say, "Hey, lazy bum, get up. Why you are still sleeping on the bed? It's too late already. Why you are giving the same food all the time? Can you change the menu? Don't change your schedule. This is my walking time. Please be ready." They are saying that already. But maybe we are not recognizing that. Maybe not everybody. And it is not far away, soon going to happen. Some way or other, I don't know. The prediction says. The chicken will say, "Don't kill me. If you kill me, you will get the karma. You have to born again as a chicken. Need to go through what I am going through now." Then we play safe. I don't buy the chicken and cut. I buy from the market which is cut already. So we can see that all those beings, not only human beings, all those other beings also identifying, recognizing the form and the name. So if we look back our childhood, how we receive knowledge, how we understand various things, how we are getting so many things, my mind is constantly occupied on that. I'm thinking constantly. My mind is chatting on its own all the time. Where it comes from? If I go back, if I am able to recall my childhood, how often I was doing like that, or how constantly the same way how I am thinking, I was thinking that time. Probably less. But when you go further, when you look at all these infants, they are looking at only one space for a long time. They get any movement, only different kind of attraction comes there. By sound or some object moving. But as we grow, things are added. Then mother is teaching. This is the food. This is your toy. Make this sound to get the attraction. Then showing various things, various places, telling stories, giving the knowledge of various names and forms. This is apple. This is orange. This is the book. This is our home. This is the playground. Knowledge has been given after that, right? Constantly. By mother, by father, by other family members, by society, by teachers, continuously. So the thought process going on. Vrittis are constantly going on. One of the source of this thought process, the modifications on the mind field. Pramana. We saw that already, right? 5 types. Vrittayaha, Panchatayaha, Klishta, Aklishtaha. 5 types, 5-fold vrittis, these modifications on the mind field. Painful, not painful. Harmful, not harmful. So what are that? Pramana, Viparyaya, Vikalpa, Nidra, Smriti. any thought happening, any modifications happening, all coming within these 5 categories. What is the first one? Pramana. Let's simply understand right knowledge. A thought happening because of right knowledge. Because of knowledge which separating into 2, right knowledge, pramana, wrong knowledge, viparyaya. Let us just understand that way first, before going into the details of right and wrong, why right, why wrong. Because this may change constantly, right? The person telling about you 5 years back, you are so beautiful, you are so wonderful. You are hearing that, right? Knowledge takes place. At least that perception. After 5 years, the same person says, you are the ugliest person I have ever seen. You are the most nasty person, bad person. It is knowledge changing, right? Not only for that person, for you also. So to give definition, to make you to understand what is this pramana, what is this viparyaya, Patanjali comes with the next sutra. The definition for pramana. Pratyaksha, Anumana, Agamaha, Pramanani. Pratyaksha, Anumana, Agamaha, Pramanani. When you keep hearing these words, then you give attention not only to the meaning and also how it is said in Sanskrit. There are certain words very easy to remember. What is this pratyaksha? Perception. What we are perceiving. How we are perceiving things? We are perceiving through the senses. Right? Hearing, tasting, smelling, seeing, and touching. These 5 sense organs, 5 senses. Through that, we are perceiving. These sense perceptions, pratyaksha. It is not by others. Through your own senses, you are perceiving things, pratyaksha. Next one is anumana. Anumana is inference. Inferring things. By inference, we are receiving the knowledge. Third one is agama. Agama. By a simple translation, by testimony, by scriptures, by the person who has the knowledge about it. We are hearing from others. We can say that pratyaksha, we are perceiving directly. Agama, it is not by us, but somebody else, and we are receiving from them. So we keep aside now the other things. Anumana, inference, agama, perception by others. So now when it comes to pratyaksha, our sense perception, that's supposed to give what knowledge? Pramana, right? Right knowledge. The knowledge is supposed to receive. Now, when we go back to our childhood, from there, as we grow, we can see that constantly what we perceive is changing. Our knowledge we received through our perception is constantly changing. On that moment, that is right, that is correct. That's our experience, direct experience. Certain things, the same experience all the time. And we constantly adding things through our direct experience. And also, over a period of time, one by one, we are understanding, we are getting to know what is the experience I am going through is not the end of it. It is not the complete process of it. Right? When we study, we understand. When we hear from parents, we understand. Certain things still we don't understand. When do we know the earth is round, the earth is not flat? What is our experience? What is our perception? It is flat. In fact, there are still association, group of people are there. The movement called the earth is flat movement. When we see that earth is flat. That's what our understanding. Then when we hear, no, earth is round, then we can see that one by one we are able to understand. Is it how it is possible? Then showing the video. Then we listen other stories. What is the movement of the earth? Earth is constantly rotating, and earth is rotating around the sun. Is it our pratyaksha? Is it our experience? Do we perceive that way? No, right? We have to add more information for that. So there are a lot of things we can understand. The sense perception not necessarily can give the right knowledge at the first moment, first time itself. What we hear, what we see, not necessarily all the time giving the complete knowledge of it. You can see number of examples on that. And if we look at our life, we can see that we constantly changed our understanding of many things when we know what is the reality. There is a saying also there, right? Believe nothing you hear, and only one half that you see. So you should not believe whatever I'm saying. The same goes with everybody, right? I'm sure in every culture, something similar sayings must be there, should be there. In my mother tongue, Tamil, there is one proverb. Kannal kanbadum poi, kadal ketpadum poi, thira visarit tarivademe. What you see through your eyes is not the true. It is the false thing. What you hear also the false thing, false ones. You will know the reality. You will know the truth only by constant inquiry about it. This is the meaning of that proverb. But if we see that, how do we deal, how do we live in our daily life activities? We strongly believe our perception, especially when it comes to one's own position or situation. I have seen through my eyes. We all believe. And based on that, we come to certain conclusion, whatever it may be. This yoga teacher poses or so perfect. And they post in Instagram and Facebook or any poster, it's all amazing poses, so perfect, so graceful. Everything is in certain alignment. What is our understanding by that? That person should be a great teacher. General perception, until you reach certain time, right? This person has a long beard. Not only long beard, grey beard. Very, very less. It's all turned into white. That means this person knows more or knows something. Eyes are seeing. Based on that image, there is some recognition, certain conclusion. That's how people fall in love also, right? Young age. I feel some chemistry with that person. Love at first sight. He or she is my soulmate. We are going to live happily ever after. Our own sense perceptions. We are identifying the name, form and name, and based on that, we are adding stories, we are adding certain conclusions. And we see that we keep accumulating, adding things constantly on that. Can we stop that? Can we do without that? Or shall we do with very, very less without creating this kind of divisions? Without giving any name, without giving any form. Or the form is there, I don't give any name. Is it possible? When we, at the infant stage, when we are hungry, can we recognize that? Can we give that name for that? I am hungry, give me food. It's a sense perception, right? Perceiving. From there, it is looking for the solution for that situation. So when the baby getting the food, it is recognizing, I am giving the solution for this unpleasant experience by giving this food, by getting this food. Obviously, we already register that form. Name comes later, afterwards, but we register that form. And not only we register that, and furthermore, this is good, this is not good. This is right, this is wrong. This I like, this I don't like. Some way or other, we keep adding other attributes, other things along with this name and form. Chitta vritti nirodha. What is yoga? Chitta vritti nirodha. Why the vritti happens? Why the modification happens? Because of this name and form identification. Right? Right knowledge or wrong knowledge, whatever it may be. If we are able to maintain that infant state, probably we may not get this many modifications. So when we sit for meditation, everything is bliss. Because there is not much modifications. That's why ignorance is bliss, right? Until you don't know that you don't know, you are good. You are in heaven. The moment somebody asks, don't you know this thing? Immediately starts. I don't know. How should I know? Everything starts from there, right? But can we live in this world or in this moment as a human being without this name and form identification? It starts from our mother. We can't recognize the mother as a mother. We can't recognize our hunger or food if you see that one after the other. Even though we don't give any name at that time, the childhood time, but we recognize the sense, the perception, it's happening there. And from there, we have to give this food and one after the other. That's how it works. For every being, that's how it works. That means for us to live each moment, we need to add more names for every forms we interact, we connect. See how we are thinking, why we are thinking, why we are constantly thinking. Because we come to know many things. Because we get this right knowledge or whatever the other way. This knowledge constantly, continuously. But without receiving this knowledge, we can't really do any kind of business, any kind of interaction. Not with others, even within oneself. But Patanjali says, stop thinking. Stop all these modifications. Then only you know the truth. And this knowledge we are receiving, which is bringing the pain. Or no pain also. But that is the source of our thought process. The name and form identification. It's like a catch-22 situation, right? You can't live without getting to know about these names and forms. You can't do anything. To recognize myself as a human being, and from there, whatever happens, that's how the interaction happens. But the name's coming afterwards. First we identify the form, senses. From there goes one after the other. So the direct perception, the perception through our senses, pratyaksha, is the source of our knowledge, right knowledge. In fact, the other two comes after this inference as well as this testimony, the knowledge we receive from others. They are happening because of this sense perception, our direct perception. Without pratyaksha, other two may not happen, will not happen. See, we don't generally give importance or attention. I am thinking now in this way, how I am getting these thoughts, where it comes from. Any thought, if we look at that, say that I want to learn this asana, right? There already so many recognition, so many things we are connecting there. Asana, a posture, I want to learn. Who wants to learn? I want to learn. Then Why I have to learn? I believe, listen carefully, I believe asana will be helping to maintain my health. Asana will keep my beauty. Asana will help me to go inward. Whatever the belief. How I get that belief? I have seen, I have heard, right? Various ways. I have read various ways. But so far, I have been hearing many things, right? Whatever of your age until this time. So many things I hear. This is good, this is good, this is good. This is bad, this is bad, this is bad. But among these things, I choose one, and based on that, I continuously do, continuously think, continuously do into many actions. You might have started your yoga practice 20 years back. Then you discontinued. Then again started 2 years back. Why discontinued? Why started? You can see there is a thought process. So every thought process happening now, there is a link, there is a connection. We can see that all the way. If you are able to trace, it will end up within these three. Whatever that knowledge, pratyaksha, anumana, agama. In fact, the other things, and we are going to see that viparyaya, vikalpa, all have the connection to this. In some way or other, we will find the root for all the thought process to this pratyaksha. That's what we are going to see. How we perceive through our senses. And how that is leading to various emotions, moods. Because of, it's all started from where? Name and form identification. And we are not simply saying this is apple, right? When you see a fruit, there is a form for that fruit apple. That apple you already given the name for that form. Maybe in your language it's a different name. Don't say no, in my language we don't say apple. Don't say that. Form is the same, but whatever the language you are using, the meaning is apple, right? Whatever you say, we put it on the translator, then it will say same apple, and you change to English, right? But it is not ending there. Then you say eating apple is good. I like apple. I like green apple. I like organic green apple. Eating an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Right? I like local apple. I don't like American apple. It's, carbon footprint. So much export coming there. So much things against environment. It's just an apple. But we can see that identifying that form, along with that giving a name, and furthermore other attributes added to that. This is the whole definition for any thought if you look into that. Where it comes from? Through our sense perception. Can we live without that? No way. But in yoga, what I need to do? I have been adding so many things through my sense perception, pratyaksha. But I have to stop that. I have to, moving away from that, cessation of these modifications. So that's what, if we look into that, in this one thing, this pratyaksha, the sense perception, the whole humanity is revolving around. What is science? Science says anything you say, it has to be proved. You have to give the empirical evidence. If it is not, you simply say it's a hypothesis. You heard of Big Bang theory, right? It is not straight away given that evidence. It's a hypothesis. Based on some other factors, it's believed that that's how this universe started. Then over a period of time, they are adding evidence to that hypothesis. And constantly happening that. Until if some other theory comes with other evidence. Pratyaksha has to given that direct evidence, empirical evidence. When it comes to spiritual practice, yoga also same, pratyaksha, that sense perception. But one difference. Here, whatever you perceive, whatever your experience, limited to you only. Others can infer. Others can understand with a certain explanation. But what is you perceive? What is your experience? It is for you only. Pratyaksha. Sense perception. That's why, why we are saying yoga is a science? There is no space for belief. I have to believe because it's said by Patanjali. I have to believe because it's been followed by thousands of years. I have to believe because many masters saying the same thing. No. Pratyaksha. Here the knowledge takes place with your own perception. But right now, it is not my experience. You go to Adho-Mukha Svanasana, move from physical structure to your sensory structure. As a beginner, what sensory structure? What you are talking about? I am already struggling to straighten my legs. You are asking me to roll my buttocks. I am already searching where is that. Whenever I want to roll my buttocks, I feel only my thighs. But every class, same thing said. Stand in Tadasana. Roll the tailbone in. First class. What? roll the tailbone in. This teacher doesn't know what he is talking. You can't access your spine. You have the skin, muscles, so many things already, which is already challenging to do anything. It's not our experience, right? But as I practice, as I am looking one layer after other, connecting from one point to other point, understanding the obstacles behind that, understanding the path, the route, the techniques behind that, then I am able to recognize, not just because it comes from my teacher, not because it is written on the book, from my own experience. Pratyaksha. You may say, no. Suppose if you are not a yoga practitioner, you may say, no. The teacher brainwashed you because you are attending the class again and again and again and again and keep hearing this roll the tailbone in, roll the tailbone in. Now you start to imagine that you are rolling the tailbone. Actually, you are just moving the buttocks. If you see from outside the person, that may be the argument, right? That's why then comes other things. Along with that, what are these? Pramana. Along with Pratyaksha, Anumana, then Agama. Also, what is my perception now is not complete. What I am perceiving through my senses, based on other knowledge, other things, I superimpose. I add other stuff on that. Then I continuously explore, understand, practice. Then I see the actuality, reality. Now, here, even regaining that right thing or actuality, that kind of right knowledge, that kind of thought process also need to disappear. Chitta, vritti, nirodha. Klishta, aklishta. Harmful, not harmful. Not only rajasic, tamasic, sattvic also. You have to look for the actuality, the reality. That thought process also need to disappear. Then we can see that, how we constantly switching from this sense perception between this right knowledge to wrong knowledge, from pratyaksha. Even we use the support, anumana and agama, from this pramana moving into pratyaya. Means wrong knowledge, right knowledge to wrong knowledge, wrong knowledge to right knowledge. And that's what our whole life we are doing it. Because we deal with the image. Like I said, that belief, right? That belief, we see the belief as a reality, belief as the actuality. Why? There is emotion connection and everything is there. I believe because my mom said. I believe That's how in my family. I believe it's because of my community. I believe because my teacher said. I believe because that's how it is said in the book. Various ways we associate with the things. What is that? You have to go back. Form and the name. Nothing else. That's how it started, right? We start to get the knowledge by giving a name to the form and differentiating various forms. Keep adding, keep adding, keep adding. Now, whatever you are thinking now is that constant accumulation of these various names and forms, plus attributes to that, added things with that, which we will see one by one. Further, we will explore what is agama, what is this inference, even pratyaksha, still more we need to understand about it. Then we get the clarity. When we see things, it gives more understanding, right way of seeing things, instead of just dealing with the image. A few questions here. Removal, name and form identification. Will it make our perception of space and time different? Meaning it will not be discrete. We don't remove. We don't remove the form and name. See where this pratyaksha comes from. Where this perception comes from. Through our senses. Right? Without the senses, there is no this form and name. Right? There is no more name and form. That's what happening in deep sleep. Senses are absent. All the senses are taking break. Has gone for holiday. No form, no name. You can't even identify what happened during the sleep. Only we get up, we infer. I was alive before going to bed. Now I wake up, I am still alive. What is happening in between? It's called sleep. We give the name for that. It's called sleep. No dream, so deep sleep. I was tired, now I am fresh. I am refreshed because of deep sleep. But during the moment of deep sleep, we don't have the perception, right? Senses gone. No time, no space, everything disappeared. Including the I-ness disappeared. So we don't, all these practice, whatever we are studying and everything, we don't remove this form and name, rather we understand the nature, the reality of this name and form. When we are able to understand that clearly in its actuality, what is the result? When we want to stop, we are able to stop, like we are stopping in the deep sleep. That's what happening in the meditation. That is what the Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Cessation, bringing the stillness to this modification on the mindset. We'll see more. Right knowledge is confined on time and the resolution that you can have. Right knowledge today can be wrong knowledge tomorrow as you gain more granular resolution. Like COVID. We think we know, but it looks like we continue to learn. It's not only COVID, including your partner, spouse, children, everybody, right? You think you know, but the more you stay, then you know you don't know. So, his question continues. So, is right knowledge right only at that moment? Even that can be interpreted with filters of each individual mind. So can right knowledge can ever be right? To put it simply, constantly everything evolving. What I am seeing now is right knowledge, is no more right knowledge tomorrow or next moment. But at that moment it is right. Is it right? Can it ever be right? See, that's why I asked you to look back from your childhood. Can we interact even within yourself? You don't need to, you are in island, imagine you are one island. Nothing is there. Nobody is there. Only yourself. Just as an infant. If the senses are not activated, you can't recognize anything. Senses are activated, then you recognize hungry, seeing something, hearing something, one after the other. Even to interact yourself within yourself, you need this form and name. Even the sense you perceive, even if you are not giving any name, you recognize that form. Hungry. There is no particular form, but your sense perceive that. Pleasant experience. Sense perceive that. You need to identify something. Then only we can interact or recognize in whatever the way we want to communicate, even within yourself. Now, when we communicate with others, so two different entities, right? You, others. Not only we are identifying the form, then we are giving the name for that communication, for that interaction. Name and form. So to say right knowledge, say wrong knowledge, then everything is coming with this identification, name and form. The moment the duality is there, identification is there, the differentiation is there, time and space is there, you and me is there, everything is momentary. Everything is momentary. It is right in that moment. It is right to you, it is not right to others. Now you are giving attention to this listening. Your daughter or son may say, can you stop listening that? Shall we watch this movie? Shall we go for dinner? What is right for you, not necessarily right for others. Everything comes within the time-space concept, right? Momentary, variables. In that case, can we say what is right for Patanjali is not right for me? What is right for Buddha is not right for me? What is right 2000 years back is not right now? That's what we are going to look into. How it is momentary, how it is right, how it is wrong, how this is changing variables. We will know that answer as we progress. A baby assuming not exposed, not activated to the five sense pratyahara, can it just grow without having impressions? Unformatted disk drive as an example, or the latent impressions in past life will still surface. Will this person can ever survive? See, that's where I hope you understand the questions, this question. Say that the sense perceptions is not there, is not recognizing the form and name. What happens? You look at any other living beings except human beings. They are programmed in a particular way. Look at the dog, look at the cat, look at the cow, look at the fish, look at the monkey. They have the senses, but that sense is limited to perceive only one thing. What? To survive. How to survive? Within that limited perception, furthermore limited what they can do. It changes species to species, right? A dog, look for food. Somebody offering, follow him, follow that person, stay with that person, love that person, do everything for that person. Within that way it is programmed. Same like that. Monkey, in particular way, living there in the jungle. Go from trees to trees. Whatever the way, get the food. Survive. Just a survival. It starts from the moment they come into the earth. Survive. That way it is programmed. If our senses not really functioning the way it is functioning now, we do the same thing. We just want to survive, don't think much, don't sit for meditation, don't read Yoga Sutra, looking for the food, want to survive, same like any other animal. In fact, 90% or 95%, we can say even 99% of the human beings are doing the same thing. I have to survive. We can say the senses are not really developed. They program themselves within that and don't know the key is there in their hand to evolve above this animal. So, not activated the five senses. That is the reality for many human beings. So, you don't need to go for what happens. It's what happening now. We will see that without realizing how it is different, how it is special, how the animal life continues in many ways, programmed for the human life also. You'll be surprised to see actually how we have been really neglected the reality of our senses, our self. It's also there. One after the other, the sutra is, if you look at that, all these things are pointed out. That is the beauty of Yoga Sutra. It's about mind. It's about thought process. It's about our emotions. It's about our life. Let's continue. Thank you all.